Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everything Iconic with me, Danny Pellegrino. I'm here live in person with a special guest. We got a queen of Christmas here along with me, Matt Rogers.
Excuse me, I'm the Prince of Christmas, and you got to get it right. I've been saying it loud and proud now for years, and you're going to be the one to mess it up. I thought this was my community in here.
I'm sorry. I also feel like I just offended Mariah Carey because she really is the queen of Christmas.
I want to tell everyone that doesn't really get like a visual on your home. It is decked out in Christmas in a very real way, and it's kind of putting me to shame as the Prince of Christmas because I can't decorate because I go out on the tour every year.
Right. Well, you need to get home and you need to get, we decorated early because I'm going to be traveling a bunch over the, so I was like, we got to get the holiday stuff out. So we were literally, it was right after Halloween. I was like, let's get the tree up.
So you're very Mariah in that way. It was time.
I normally will wait until the day before Thanksgiving, but this year I was like, we're leaning in. We're going a little early.
I'm happy you did because I came in here and I was immediately in the spirit. Like literally, I felt like I walked in here and I say this in the best way. It dropped 15 degrees. I was like,
good.
It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas.
Right.
And I want you to know I'm one Hershey Kiss deep right now because he has, say it with me, a little plate, a little
candy dish.
Yeah.
And I love a candy dish. And Matt, I don't know if you know this, but I feel like I'm single-handedly responsible for getting that chocolate that you just ate out of that candy dish because last year they did not have the Hershey Kisses with the almonds in the seasonal foils. They just had only all gold.
You prefer that. You prefer the almond.
I threw a big fit last year. I prefer the almond, but I need the seasonal. I need the 3 different seasonal packaging. So I need the red, green, and gold. Not just all gold, not just all one color.
Yeah.
Last year they didn't have it. I complained. I threw a fit. Okay. And this year they brought them back.
I was never like a nut freak.
Yeah, you were.
I was. But I've never really been like. Actually, I was one of those annoying kids where if there was like nuts in my chocolate, I was like, I don't want it. But now I'm kind of like really wrapping my head around nuts. And I was wrapping my mouth around nuts just now when I had the Hershey Kiss because I wasn't expecting it to have a nut in it. And actually, I was just thinking to myself before you said that, wow, that had nuts. I don't know if I would have preferred it not.
So wait, would you say that? Okay, wait. So can I say that my nut would have been your favorite nut to have? Would that be
my first nut of the day?
The first nut of the day. Okay. Wait, my brain was going somewhere. This is so weird to have you in person here.
I know.
We've done Zoom so many times, and I'm like, oh my God, you're here and you're live and in person.
I'm here live and in person, and for those who can't see us, so in addition to it being very Christmas, I am wearing my Eternal Sunshine Ariana Grande merch.
Matthew, you guys have had so many great guests on the show. Obviously, Ariana came on Las Culturistas, which was incredible. You had Mariah on. You've had everyone lately.
We've definitely been booking celebrities, which is interesting because it's like a whole different vibe of our show. Like some weeks Bowen and I are just kind of popping off about whatever the fuck, like often stoned at home, just like riffing about whatever's going on. And then sometimes literal Mariah Carey is sitting in front of us. And I'm like, how is this the same show?
An angel among us.
I was pretty crazy. And
was the Mariah stuff on time? Because famously
she was about 40 minutes late. And that was unbelievable.
But wait, was it during the day?
It was.
Okay, because I've heard stories about people who have interviewed Mariah, and famously she likes at nighttime.
Yeah.
And so there's been reporters that I know who have interviewed her at 3 a.m. or on Zoom or whatever in the middle of the night.
So she had to be up because she was doing the Drew Barrymore show earlier, and then she did us. I will say she did seem a little tired in a way that made me feel like, oh, the reports are true. This woman is awake mostly at night. Right. And I do know that about her. Like she is pretty nocturnal.
Right.
So I was happy that she, brought her gorgeous, talented self to the studio to do one of the best I Don't Think So Honeys I think we've ever had.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what was that? Overhead lighting. Yes, it was so...
Like, when she launched it, when Mariah Carey was in front of me on my show launching into I Don't Think So Honey overhead lighting, I was like, this is a full circle moment in so many ways. Right. It ranks amongst the best I Don't Think So Honeys, I think, because of what it meant on the person.
Right. I mean, come on.
Character met form.
Come on.
In a real way.
I want to talk about all of your projects. You have so many. You're going on tour. Of course, you got the new show on Netflix.
Are you going to come to the show? December 4th.
When is it? Yeah, I'm coming.
December 4th at the Fonda Prince of Christmas tour.
Yeah, I'll be here.
I do my whole I'll put you on the list. I do my whole album. Have You Heard of Christmas? and some new stuff. It's going to be fun. I'm going all over the country. MattRogersOfficial.com.
MattRogersOfficial.com. We're going to get back to that in a minute. But first, we do have to discuss, I mean, there's a lot of Housewives stuff going on.
Yeah.
This was a Beverly Hills premiere week.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of where we should start, and I guess we should just start with Dorit's cigarette. First and foremost.
That's really where I think it does feel like a before and after when that happened.
Right.
Do you feel we're seeing the origin story of villain Dorit?
I actually think we got the origin story of villain Dorit when she first came on the show, and then I think she kind of tapered off for a while. And the critique was that she sanitized herself too much and just was too worried about how she was coming across. And those first couple of seasons, remember there was that whole thing about like Bamboozled Jane, whether or not she was wearing underwear or something. And Dorit, I think, was her villain origin story. Like we saw, she was nefarious, and she got a lot of blowback from that. And then she kind of came back and then she had the robbery, which was.
My favorite thing, I'm sorry, now I'm distracted. One of my favorite things you say is Bamboozle Jane. It was the greatest bamboozlement.
The greatest bamboozle. I don't have that sound on my soundboard right now.
Wait, so just for everyone at home to see, again, like I'm a fan, so I'm just seeing what the soundboard looks like and everything. It's a real thrill.
Let me play something for him.
But now we said it.
It is a thrill. What's your favorite sound? Do you have a favorite soundbite on the soundboard? Because there's certain ones that make me laugh that I feel like I can be annoying about.
I like Little Girl.
Little Girl.
I also like your spooky sound.
Yeah, I like that one too. There's a Lady Gaga one from The View where she's like, "Get on your feet, it's the holidays."
Yeah.
That one makes me laugh.
I want a soundboard so bad for
you
Last
guys
College.
need to get one.
If I do another podcast, like my own podcast at some point, I will have a soundboard. Know that.
Well, some people do that thing where they send you messages that are like veiled insults, When I first started the soundboard, I was getting lots of messages of being like, "You need to stop that because I listen to your show to fall asleep." And it's like wakes me up when you play the scary sound effect. I'm like, you know what? I'm not producing this show for you to fall asleep to.
Can I say something to anyone listening? And I'm not saying this applies to anyone in particular. We are not customer service. We are not customer service. This is our show you're listening to for free.
Right. We'll do it how we do it. And if you don't like it, totally understand. I get it.
Please.
I'm not for everyone. You're not for everybody. Get it.
A litany of other better podcasts to listen to.
Do you read reviews and stuff like that?
Unfortunately.
I
you know what? I don't read the podcast app reviews anymore, but I'll sometimes go on like the Reddit to see what they're saying. And no one should. It's like why the Housewives shouldn't read the comments, because I think that's when they become worse at what they do.
Right.
Like I can feel myself when I've internalized something too much. It just makes me worse at what I do because I'm too in my head. Like everyone on New York, I think is in the comments.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
so
when you can
right
tell. I think sometimes like you can feel it on Salt Lake too. Some of them are in the comments too much. But
they're on like the dark web comments, so it doesn't affect them that much.
Yeah, that's what I love about Beverly Hills. They're not in the comments. Like I don't think Dorit's in the comments.
No, well, I don't know. I kind of feel like Dorit might have read the comments of being like, "We're bored by Dorit now," right? And
okay, I have to ask you a question. Yeah. Do you think we're seeing the real Dorit, or do you think we're seeing a new Dorit?
I don't even know if Dorit knows who I don't get the impression that she really has a full grasp on who she is. Do you get that impression?
I think that we are seeing when they talked about like how bad the fighting got, it's just interesting to me that fighting could get that bad between them, because obviously any couple's gonna fight, but I just never pictured them having like bad vicious fights, apparently alcohol induced fights. I think that said one thing, because it takes two to tango. Like maybe Dorit has like a vituperative nature that she's not showing us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but also I thought what was the most revealing about Dorit was how quickly and how aggressively she was like, he's an alcoholic and it's really bad. Because when you're saying that about the father of your young kids,
while they're still together, they're still technically married.
Yes, what you're really saying is, this is something I think should come up in a separation or like some sort of divorce proceeding, which is rough and tumble.
Right.
Like that's a rough thing to say about the father of your kids. If it's a real situation and a real problem, then, whatever. But she came right out, episode 1, first moments of us knowing them as a separated couple. He's a really bad alcoholic.
I'm so thrilled she's opening up about all this stuff on camera and all that. I think it's great. But there is a little part of me that's bugged because of, it feels like we've been tricked not only with the PK situation, which it seems like all of the gals seem to know that they were having these troubles, but it's sort of like been alluded to but never finally come out until now. And then even the stuff with Kyle where it's like Kyle's like we were never that close, or that there's that whole thread of like them not being as close, and it's like I know that these things are true, but there is a part of me who's like, God, you guys have been tricking us for all these years. Like,
it does feel like for the very first time this show has really kind of like called out that they don't hang out, any of them.
Right.
Like even like when Garcelle and like finally sees like all of them again, like because you know that she never sees them.
I know, and during the off season when they're not filming, it's like none of them are.
They don't even speak.
Right.
And I said, no. So what's been up?
I haven't seen her for a while.
I guess we're back to being close friends again. Like, huh? Like that's one of the reasons why I'm happy that Jennifer Tilly is there. Two reasons. One, because I think she's going to be like a Kathy Hilton-esque figure, and I do think that Kathy Hilton is trying a little too hard now.
Yeah.
The Ivy thing was a little bit like
I like the Ivy thing, but it was leaning into it. It was
I
just
liked
like
it too, because I mean, I obviously it made me laugh, but I was like, all right, we're not.
She knows what she's doing.
We're far from the ceiling fan thing now. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, but
I miss Kim's quirkiness. Like Kim's quirkiness was so natural to me, and it was like that. It just felt real.
And I think that Jennifer Tilly's quirkiness and personality is like real. And obviously she is an actress, and so it would be easy for her to put something on, but I don't think she is, and I'm really enjoying that vibe. But like one of the reasons I like that she's there is because I genuinely believe that her and Sutton are good friends.
Yeah.
Like Sutton, I believe, has like real relationships on the show. And I think in that way she like anchors Garcelle to the show. And can I say, we can't have another season of a lot of Garcelle's story being, I'm so busy.
Right. And working on a set or something. It's like we need,
It's also, it's like the narrative being like, and can you believe it? I'm so busy. Wow. Look at me in my life. It's like, we've been looking at you in your life now for 5 years. We know how great and talented and busy you are. Like, I just hope it's not more of that, because it's becoming a little candy-ish where it's like, I'm so popular outside the show and so flourishing outside the show, and that's why you don't see me give that much on the show. Like, it's not a good reason for the entertainment on the show to be like lackluster.
And it doesn't feel like she gets in the mix much when it comes to like personal dynamics with the other women. She'll stir the pot a little bit, but it's like, okay, well, what's your relationship to all of these things?
When she does, I do like it.
Yeah.
Like when I feel like she's activated in group settings, I think it's really compelling.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the vibe between her and Bozema will be.
I liked her. I mean, I know we only got one little glimpse of her. My one concern is she'll be a little guarded because she comes from the corporate world. They kept saying that corporate, and that worried me a little bit.
Well, can I say the kind of buzz on her is that she hasn't been like...
The buzz on her, I love it.
The buzz, the word on the street about Bozema is like she's worked a lot of places because a lot of places hasn't gone well.
Oh, so it'll be good. I just got excited.
I mean,
so that's good.
I think that it's not like she's not
gone
walking
well.
in here like I'm a boss and I've taken over corporate America, because reader, she wouldn't be there if that were true. Like, that's just kind of... I will say, I think that the Housewives have done a better job of getting like legit rich women on the show. Like,
because there was a bleak period where we were hiring people,
right?
Like Gina, God bless, who we love on Orange County now, but it took a while.
People are way too hard on Gina.
I like her now.
Gina's one of my girls.
Yeah.
That's a Long Island connection.
You probably we're recording this. You haven't seen the Orange County.
I have.
Oh, it's season 3.
So I just did.
Okay.
I just did Bitch Sesh. Okay, so I've seen everything.
Okay, wait. So then, yeah. Okay, I know we're jumping around a lot, but since you have, let's talk about. So the scene at the end of the Orange County Part 3 reunion, where we have there's a post reunion pickup, and it's the 5 gals. It's Emily, Gina, Heather, Shannon, and Tamara, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is our core 5 now. Like, we have a core 5, and I can't believe it's Gina and Emily, Hip and Casita sitting there as the core 5, and I'm like, I feel a connection to them now that I never could imagine before.
Hip and Casita have come a really long way.
They're like OGs or something.
I know, and can I also say, like, the 2 that weren't there, I also think are coming back. I mean, Jen is like major on the show.
Jen will be back 100%.
I love
and
Jennifer
I think Katie
Pedretti.
too.
And I think Katie's good. I think Katie, had she not tripped herself up in the beginning with the Heather thing, because Heather's just so tough to be in a fight with, because it's just so many words coming at you and so much self-righteousness.
She refuses to be wrong. And even she also has too much pride to, even if she isn't wrong, sometimes you just have to like kind of admit to something to move on with the storyline. And it's like she won't even give.
Called the paparazzi at Disneyland?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she directly did. Like, I think maybe she told her publicist or assistant or someone, or one of them did it.
It was a wink wink moment.
That's what I think, right?
The funniest thing is the paparazzi picture is just her pointing up at the sky. And I'm like, I wonder what ride or attraction Heather Dubrow is pointing at and saying, let's do that next, Terry. Like, now I kind of want to know their Disney day.
I
want now that I know that they went and that paparazzi were following them, I'm like, well, what'd they do?
Terry stops at the corn dog place as soon as he gets in the park. That front one, he
See,
stops
this is the thing, is it's like, I do want paparazzi shots of the Dubrows at Disneyland. So she wasn't wrong to do that. And for Katie to shame her, she thought she was shaming the devil. She was shaming herself.
The only thing that I will say with Heather Dubrow that could have happened, that I think besides her calling the paparazzi, I feel as though maybe they were there for some other celebrity and they just started taking other pictures. But even then, I don't believe that, like, if somebody was there taking pictures, let's say Mariah Carey, they'd be like, oh, there's Heather and Terry Dubrow. Like, let's get some shots of them too. Like, that'd be absurd, right?
I feel like yes, but also people don't really get, like, it would be a whole thing to get like a paparazzi in there to like get their camera equipment in. Like, it would be a security thing. And also people at the front would be asking like, why do you need to bring this camera? And because also Disney is not going to be like, yeah, paparazzi, come on in. Like, also, I don't really know how it works.
This brings up a good point too, because now Disney, you have to have a reservation ahead of time. So they would have had to have a reservation for the paparazzi.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, if you're going to hook this up in a way, like, what are these paparazzis sitting around with magic key passes? I mean, they're expensive.
No, I love it. I mean, Heather infuriates me, but I love her for the show and I don't want her going anywhere, but she is infuriating.
She wants badly to go to Beverly Hills, I think, or maybe she did, and she like abandoned that midway through the season.
She doesn't feel Beverly Hills to me.
I think she does. See, when people say that, I'm always like, I don't know that that's true. I think she'd be good on Beverly Hills, but I don't think she'd be as activated by those around her on Beverly Hills. I think she'd have to do a lot more work than she realizes.
And I think Orange County just needs her. They need that glamour and wealth in a way that Beverly Hills, I don't think, needs it.
I think that's what's so cool about Orange County is it's like cool. That's not really the right word. It's interesting about Orange County is you do get different demographics of wealth. So it's like you can have Casita rather, because hippie having money.
Yeah, hippie.
Yeah, hip. She's got a pocket full. Hip's got a pocket full.
What are those snacks? Hippies. They're like a snack. Hippies.
I don't know.
That's when you said hip.
Are they good?
Yeah. They're like little cheese crunches that are healthy. Hippies.
You know what was just so funny? I was just on Bitch Sesh with Casey and Danielle, and they were talking about how like Emily on the OC reunion has kind of served as like a legal analyst.
Oh yeah, she's full Dr. or Judge Judy on that fucking thing.
I said Emily Simpson for the Supreme Court. Honestly, her and Trump probably align.
And what's with Andy too? I feel like Andy keeps going to her too, and it's like, Emily, explain this to us.
I know,
and it's like, what?
And the fact that she's like kind of able to, I'm like, go off, Emily. I think Emily's had one of her best seasons.
I noticed in part 3, it was like Andy kept going to Emily, and I was like,
because I think he likes her a lot.
He must.
You know what? I get the vibe. I get the vibe that Gina and Emily are 2 of Andy's favorite housewives.
They're underdogs. They were underdogs for the longest time, and now I feel like they're the stars of the show.
Because have you noticed that like everyone's like, I like Gina and Emily now, and his like sort of response to that is like, see,
I told ya.
Like he's like very happy that like his kids have graduated. They got held back in 6th grade several times.
It took us
and
a while.
Now they finally got to high school.
Yeah. But no, they came into their own, and we love them now. In Orange County, I don't want any changes ultimately. But
neither.
What did you think of that whole post-credit or post-reunion thing? I was a little confused as what they were saying. Now, I may or may not have had a little...
The narrative thread of did he hear the crash or not is complete. He did hear it and didn't help her.
Yeah.
And
that's it, though, right?
That I honestly... If I never hear the words John Jansen again, I'm good.
Right. I don't actually think, I don't know who I was saying this to, but I actually think next season they don't even need to bring back Lexi.
No,
I thought,
certainly not.
At first I thought maybe bring in Jugs for like a couple episodes next season, but after seeing that final part of the reunion, I'm like, we don't need her at all. I feel like if anything, it'll be similar to the Monica Garcia stuff in Salt Lake. I think if we were to bring back Jugs, then we're dealing with that whole John EJ thing that we've already kind of exasperated, and I just think it'd be like not fun next season.
I think it's so Jover. I think it's
and that's the other thing. I think they need to bring back Joe. Okay, so Joe, I think is who they should bring back as the friend of.
That's interesting.
Because she's got like that weird connection with Ryan, which I feel like there's a lot of juice there. Yeah. I don't know what exactly, but there's stuff there. She worked with him in that office together, and what were they doing? Like it was some Was it telemarketing?
Yes, something like, well, whenever I hear
there's stuff
telemarketing,
there.
I think scam.
There's stuff there.
Yeah.
When they were saying the name of the company, I was like, oh, there's stuff there.
No, literally, isn't it funny? Like every guy on these shows who's come on and it's been a thing at the beginning, like can't really say what they do. It's always a thing.
Right.
Always a thing.
And I think Joe would be the smarter person to bring in as a friend of than Jugs. I think it would just be that.
She's just done. Like Alexis can't.
She's infuriating to watch in a confessional.
Is it because it feels so rehearsed? And yet still
I don't want to say the
hit.
reason why I think it is. I just think she's not all.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to listen to some of the things she's saying, even at the part 3 of the reunion when she kind of does that double speak, or
you can't really
talk
be
to her.
mad at her because like you get the sense she is giving it what she's got. But I do feel bad because that guy is a narcissist really bad. And I mean, even when they were explaining it to her as gingerly as they could, like if this were the case, if the non-disparagement thing is the only thing and she's willing to pay the money, like there is a problem here. Do you understand that? And she's just like, nope. You can tell like she may even be working herself up in a loop and think, you know what, this is exhausting to think about. I'm just going to keep getting dicked down.
Right.
Because that's another thing I think all these OC women get in common is they are so susceptible to a wonderful nut. Not the one I had when I came in. Not the one you had when I'm talking about they get dickmatized easy, and I get it because I'm attracted to these guys.
Also, slim picking in Orange County.
I'm attracted to Ryan.
Are you?
And that's how I know he's bad.
Wait, are you dating anyone now?
No, I'm dating around. Like I'm definitely out here, but
where are you out here? Are you on dating apps?
I know what it's like to get got by a narcissist.
Are you on dating apps?
Yeah, I'm on apps.
What are we looking for? I feel like I always ask you about this because people will be like, "Oh man, I think he's so cute." Like,
do people say that?
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask you this right now.
I mean,
people pop in your DMs.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. They totally can pop my DMs. But my thing is like, I'm sort of between. You want to hear my Housewives tagline?
Please.
From the coast to the coast, I'll be doing the most because I'm bi-coastal, Danny.
Yeah, you're both.
But we can't have real gays of bi-coastal.
So where makes sense. Where's the ideal gay live for you? In New York or LA?
I don't know. So that's sort of like, I feel like the more fun, vibrant, outgoing social version of myself in New York, where like my friends that are family are, and that's like where I came up, and you know, it motivates me to perform more and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's a younger part of me that comes alive in New York. But then there's like a more comfortable, adult, healthier, just paced down version of myself in Los Angeles that I really like. So I'm just trying to figure out like which type of person I want to be if I can bring the best of both those worlds to one city. And then I think once I root and I ground down, I can really start actually opening up myself to someone instead of, flitzing around from here and there. No one ever knows where you are because that's not really fair to someone when you start dating them.
What about famous do you dating creatives? How do you
I mean, my thing is, I don't think it really one thing I'll say is it's definitely different dating now than it was like a few years ago.
Why?
Because I feel like I never really know what people know about me or think about me anymore, because I don't think I'm like very famous. It's not that. It's just that like things have changed a little bit from like a few years ago, where I know now that like people may have an idea of who I am. And I just had a bad experience where I felt a little targeted by someone, and that
what?
I don't know, I had a relationship that like afterwards I felt a little icky about the way in which it started, because I felt like I was like sought out in a way, and
like for a moment, or
like I think I'm just, I don't know, I don't really know how to say it other than like sometimes now when I walk into like a gay space, like a gay bar or whatever or something like that, I get a little bit more anxious because of being perceived.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? And like it's not like it was when I was in like mid to late 20s, where it was a situation of I can go up to someone and we're actually getting to know each other and stuff. And again, like I know I'm not like some household name or anything, but in the gay community, like we all know each other anyway. And when you're someone who's like out there, with like a, I guess like a public situation, it just makes me a little bit more self-conscious.
Yeah. I feel like none of the gays know me because it's, it's like all the listeners of the show are like older women.
Are the Katies.
And so, yeah. But
that's not true though. Like I think like I mean this is the thing is it's just like it just makes you, it's something about succeeding in this industry that I didn't really consider is the self-consciousness that comes with when you are able to be judged in such a way.
I wasn't going to ask you this. I know we're kind of all over the place, but I was talking to Jess. I was doing her podcast, Hot Takes and Deep Dives, and we were starting to talk a little bit about like LGBTQ, like what's being made. Because for a while, it felt like a lot of queer content was being made, and we had some people kind of making that happen. And it feels, at least to me, on the production side of things, I have different things in development or different projects, different places, and it kind of feels like to me that it's scaling back, and these places want these big hits that are the most universal, which tends to get rid of a lot of these voices that might be a little marginalized, right? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think
it's a little worrisome,
I feel it the same way, and I can say it is happening. I mean, the networks and the studios and like, across the board, like even casting is getting a lot less interested in what they were, which was like showcasing a lot of like diverse and queer voices. It feels like they kind of just want to do what works now. Not to say there aren't great things happening, but
it feels like
production itself has slowed down a ton. So if they are spending money, they're not like taking swings. And unfortunately, like queer projects and stuff like that doesn't have like a very obvious demographic and audience for the people making the decisions, they're not the things getting the money. Like friends of mine, I'm sure you, like I know me, like you go out and you try to sell your like queer story, and a lot of my queer friends are now pivoting and trying to write stories just to sell something that are about,
because you have to work
more palatable, because you don't have to work as hard. There's a little bit higher of a chance something will get bought, and therefore you're not disappointed, not just professionally but also personally, that they don't want to tell your story that's like important to you. So it's like protecting your heart a little bit too, with like not getting super confident that they're gonna buy your specific niche queer story, which feels hard to say, but it's just kind of where the business is right now, because this money's not good.
I even noticed like in more mainstream projects, it's like there's for a while it felt like maybe there was one gay role and something, like there'd be a gay assistant, and it even feels like that's getting sort of taken away.
It's weird. Like I think we're in a really interesting spot with like identity in media and politics. Like I think there's this idea that that people think they know either way, whether people are like sick of it or need more of it. And I think we're overthinking it. I think characters can just be good and interesting. Like stories can just be good and interesting, and they'll do well. I'm disappointed but not surprised that like the culture as it is, where it feels like we're really divided, it feels like even in music with like the move towards like country and country aesthetic and like who's not wearing a cowboy hat this year, it feels like even they are trying to cater to a sensibility that is more like traditional, whatever you want to say, like mainstream American, like more, heterosexual. It just feels like we as a culture are swinging a little right, bringing news in a way that's like, I think now been kind of confirmed.
Yeah, creatively, I just think it's tough. I mean, even coming up in my 20s and stuff, I felt like in the comedy scene, there were all these alt comedy voices, people that friends and stuff like that.
I feel
and
very
even
much
now it
part
feels
of that. It was a moment.
It was a moment. Now it feels like it's a little worrisome. I'm like, oh man, I think we're going to be losing a lot of really great voices if these places aren't going to fund.
You just have to think of it as an ebb and a flow. I think I remember I came up in comedy in New York, like literally, I started comedy in 2008, 2009. So this was like the Obama era. I remember being at NYU my freshman year, and Obama was elected, and we took to Union Square, and it felt like it was a new world.
Yeah.
It felt like we had like opened up Pandora's box in the best way. Like suddenly, like there was hope and possibility and change, like all those things that he said. And that really trickled down to like the creative stuff that was happening everywhere, music,
trickled
comedy,
down
etc.
right to
That
Glee.
was like the birth of Lady Gaga. Yes. But then like,
Do you
you know, all these things and then blah, blah, blah. Like it felt very possible.
Do you think Glee's gonna have like I keep feeling like
They're definitely gonna
I'm gonna
reboot
have
Glee.
like a Glee rewatch at one point. I don't know when it'll be. I watched.
Oh,
it
you
because-
think it's gonna have like a resurgence?
Yeah,
like
well,
girls did.
mostly just for me personally.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I was like, I bet you in 5 years ish, maybe 10. I don't know when it's gonna be.
People are gonna start
but
rewatching.
one day I'm personally
Yeah.
gonna buckle in and say I'm gonna rewatch Glee, and I just know it's gonna be the wildest head trip because I remember I see clips and stuff, and I remember how crazy it fucking was. But I do feel like when I do rewatch it in 5-10 years, it's gonna be even more absurd than I remember.
Well, do you remember like
Not
I
excited
think
about
I
that.
think something people forget is how rough and tumble Jane Lynch's jokes were on that show.
Oh
Like,
my
she
God,
was
yes.
vicious and so mean, and the stuff
They
that
all
would
were,
say,
but her especially.
and it was like a little Archie Bunker-ish when it would get like a little racial, not even a little, like full blown,
Full-blown, yeah.
like ableist, like homophobic, like really intense stuff in a way where I'm like, I bet on a rewatch in 5 years we're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe they got away with this.
But I was watching, I was like, oh my God, she's so fucking funny. They
No,
were
I
awarding
loved
her, you know. like,
I loved the first
Yeah, it
season,
got nuts.
and then I think it got weird, but
watched
no,
till the
like
end.
when it was good, it was great. Like he can direct the hell out of a pilot.
Let's take a break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna get to Housewives more because people aren't gonna be mad at us. Okay, let's take a break, and we're back. Okay, Matthew, we talked.
But we
anything
didn't
else
get
about
into Beverly Hills
I know
enough.
we didn't get into it enough. Let's talk about Bamboozle Jane, and specifically sort of this interesting place she's at, where she's between Splits Richards and
Yeah.
Dorit, and she's playing the fence. I was actually watching her performance this season, thinking in the premiere episode, like, how much longer do we have with her? Because it doesn't seem like she's got a ton of storyline this season, and I think it's possible for her to take some time off because there were so many things that not taking time off from the show, but taking time from having her storyline be like the main driving force of this show,
Yeah.
I think is okay. But you can't take too many seasons off.
I don't know if she's like taking a season off, because I think the thing with Erica Jane, you know who I think she's very comparable to as a housewife is honestly Meredith Marks. I think Meredith and Erica are always going to be interesting to watch, even if they're not at the center of the drama, because of the way they take up space in the world.
Right.
Like, I think that Erica, while somehow being the most grounded person in this episode, is still Erica.
Yeah, she's
you know what
still
I
a
mean?
good
There were
character.
still funny things to watch with her, like her standing up and having the conversation because she didn't want to get the seats wet with her like Tanner. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm
The amount of furniture these women have ruined.
I think Erica Jane is a top 5 housewife of all time.
Oh, wow. That's a bold statement.
I think she is.
Okay.
I
don't
think
agree
she's
with
up
you.
there. You don't agree with
No, I think she's I think she's a really good housewife, but I don't know about top 5. I don't know, but I'd have to sit and think about it for a little while, but I don't think top 5. In my gut instinct, no.
Do you think Luann is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gut instinct.
I
Gun to
think
my head.
Luann is. I think
Gun to your
Erica
head.
is.
Top 5. Quick.
Luann, Erica. I want to say Portia. I would say.
Anyone Salt Lake, Potomac? Anyone Miami?
I think Lisa Barlow is 4, and then
agree.
I would give it to Alexia 5.
Lisa Barlow to me
And that's
is
just off the top. of
yeah,
your head.
top. Lisa Barlow to me, I'm noticing this season of Salt Lake, I feel like she's kind of an all-timer to me. I
Lisa
haven't
Barlow
noticed
is
it until
forever. I've
recently.
noticed this a second.
I haven't noticed it. until recently.
That's one of my things I will hang my hat on. I've known from the second Lisa Barlow appeared on our screens that she was an all-timer, and I said, just give it a sec, because she's gonna deliver.
And the thing with her that I find fascinating, and all of my sort of top choices, I'd feel the same way. It's like, even when I hate them, like, I think they're delivering good TV.
Yes.
And I think Lisa Barlow, even when I'm not liking what she's saying or doing, I'm like, oh, I get it.
Oh
She's
no,
good
her
TV.
behavior about flying in coach was abhorrent.
Perfect TV.
And I absolutely loved every second of it, because I loved watching her navigate not only her disappointment about having to fly in coach, but also she knew how bad it was that she was that upset, and was negotiating in the moment how much to show
on camera. Totally.
how upset she was. Like the way she was like angling away from the camera and like playing with her hair, like, we have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. I was like, wow, she's really upset and doesn't want anyone to know that she's going to be this uncool about the coach of it all. It was brilliant. That's why I like Housewives.
Yeah. Yeah.
For moments like that.
I mean, all of Salt Lake, I feel like some of the things that they're fighting about are always so small and absurd, like the plane, but I don't know. I love Salt Lake. I love
Angie is one of my favorite current housewives right now.
Okay, wait, let's move over to Salt Lake. Oh, wait, before we move on from Beverly Hills, just with the cigarette, I do have to say that they were showing her, it's been a big moment on the internet, is the cigarette that Dorit, and finally she's smoking on camera. And I always say, any reality TV star that's willing to smoke on camera is a good reality TV star. That goes back to Luann smoking on camera for the first couple of times we saw her.
Yeah.
It's these women letting go of the artifice. So I don't support cigarette smoking.
Certainly
but
not.
I do support it on my reality TV because it means that they're getting rid of the walls.
100%. I mean, I think Dorit is in an I don't give a fuck era, and I'm really excited. Also, whatever happens later in the season where Dorit screams at Kyle like that at that table, I don't understand what got her there. Also, speaking of Kyle, two things on Kyle.
Yeah, and the Morgan Wade of it all I want to ask about.
Two things on Kyle. One, her wearing those deer antlers. Her making Kyle Richards expressions in those deer antlers. What's so funny about the deer antlers is that's only male deers have those antlers. So she's a boy. So basically she's saying, gender, I don't conform.
I sort of feel like, and please don't send me DMs about this, but I sort of feel like Kyle changed her walk up. I feel like this is going to get me in trouble. For a little while, I felt like she was walking like Teddy.
Yeah, strong.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Strong and wrong.
It started as making fun of Teddy. It started as an impression.
Became more ambling.
And then last season, I noticed Kyle started to walk like that naturally. I thought.
Why do you think she was walking different, Danny?
Everyone can use their imagination.
What's happening to her? That
I want all the listeners. Just use their imaginations.
100%.
But I noticed this season, I feel like she's walking more like old Kyle.
Well, I think they're not fucking as much.
Yeah, but also I hated how she just said this episode with the Morgan Wade of it all. Like, she didn't want to do it or whatever. It's like, well, what the fuck were y'all doing last year? What do you mean? It was like,
I think
the
Morgan
camera
wasn't
accidentally picked up
for
Morgan.
the amount of attention they got. But it's like, okay,
but they both went into it. They knew what they were filming. They were filming tattoos together, and Kyle was in the music video and stuff. So it wasn't like neither one of them, it was accidental. I felt like Kyle came in the season being like, well, Morgan wasn't used to it or whatever, and she decided to step away. And it's like, well, it wasn't by chance. You were promoting Morgan's music by doing the music video.
This is something I'll guess. This is a guess. I don't know. But maybe Morgan thought in the beginning, this is a real relationship I really like in my life. She's on this show. It's a part of her. And also, I think it would help my career. And so I think she thought, let's get into it. Let's do it. And I think maybe her career wasn't helped enough by it to
keep it going,
to make it make sense to deal with that amount of stress.
Right.
So I think that Morgan is kind of like, look, it's not worth it for me. You're cool. Like, we have this relationship, whatever, but like, I don't want anything to do with the show. And Kyle is navigating that. I do think it's good that Kyle basically came out.
But did she?
Yeah. I think she did. People were like, she's clinging to the closet. I'm like, you guys, she's literally on camera shaking and quivering in her confessional like only Kyle can.
Yeah.
Talking about how she was nervous about embarrassing her daughters. Like, what do you think she's doing?
Yeah, what more do you want her to say?
What,
really?
What do you want her to yep, I'm gay on Housewives of Beverly Hills? She's talking about how difficult it is for her to do that. Like,
I think with Beverly Hills, I struggle with like, how much are they media trained?
Well, yeah, a lot more than
how
the
much
rest.
of it. It's like, so every decision Kyle makes on camera or something, I'm like, well, wait, why did she? And I'm over analyzing it.
Yeah, I think this is what I think though. I think if they are the real deal and they're together and like it's all going to be kept off camera, she can't stay on the show,
right?
Because then it's going to be a whole thing of it's going to be a Jenna Lyons type thing, where it's like, why did you get away with this? We need to see Kyle's life on the show. Kyle is the protagonist of the show. We need to see her in 360.
Okay, I'm looking through my notes to make sure I didn't get... Oh, the hat. What did you think of Dorit's hat?
I actually thought it was one of the only surreal things there, right? Like it was like it was kind of like it's a surrealist party, and like y'all were dressed as a lot of you were dressed as woodland creatures. Wasn't it weird? Like the theme wasn't like surrealist woodland; it was surrealism.
It was all fucking nuts. The whole party,
but like they were dragging Dorit, and I'm like, okay, she's giving you a different take on surreal. Like
I wouldn't
say what
know
you want about Dorit, but she can understand a theme party dress.
I don't like a theme party. I would just show up in whatever outfit I liked and look cute. I'm not a theme party. I'm not a.
You
costume.
are a Christmas decoration freak, but don't like theme parties.
I don't like I don't want you to tell me what I have to wear. I want to wear the cutest thing that I feel good in.
Okay, I mean,
like I don't want to have to be like, oh, I got to put on this Victorian, I don't know, running suit because it's part of the theme.
For the Victorian running suit
like
theme.
For that theme. I'm not interested in that. I might have an outfit that I've been saving that I'm like, oh, that's cute. I want to wear that to the party.
I think it depends on the theme. I think it's a classic. It depends on the theme. And do I have something in my closet that will work?
I mean, there are themes where if you were to tell me and I had something in the closet that I liked and I was like, oh, I look cute in that, then I'd be like, okay, great. But for the most part, I always feel like I'm going to have to buy clothes. I'm going to wear the thing one fucking time.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a waste of money. And I won't even feel as cute in it.
Well, don't come on my show, Real Gays of Bicoastal, because there's going to be theme parties. You can't escape them.
What would be your main theme party? Did you watch that gay reality show?
Trash is a Midwestern city.
Did you watch that gay reality show?
I did not. No.
Did they approach you about it?
No, they didn't. Did they approach you?
I had there was like a one call, but no. I couldn't do reality. I don't think I'd be good at that kind of reality.
I've been offered reality things like they sort of loosely approached. Well, they didn't loosely. They officially approached me and Bowen about season 3 of Traitors, but we were like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of giving up my image and self to be edited by someone else because I don't think it would go well. I think I'm a type you could cut into a villain very easily.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I don't want that.
I would feel safe on like a Traitors, I think.
You would feel safe on Traitors, a show where they literally have to make everyone look like shades of
But
gray.
who really looks that bad on there?
I think people look bad. Really? I think if you're Dan
maybe I'm
from
naive.
Big Brother, you're not happy with how you came off on the show because he also looked dumb.
Yeah, and
his whole thing was like he's the smartest person in the room, and then he absolutely bombed the show and didn't exactly read as a great personality.
And I think on some level, for me, I'd find it funny if that happened to me. Like, I'd be like, well, that's kind of funny that I'm like the big dummy on the show.
I think because like I struggle anyway with like doing personality driven stuff anymore anyway. I just so happen to have the podcast and stuff and like have like made this space for myself. But what I always wanted to do was be an actor. So I struggle with like managing those things already. I don't need to add a third thing of like, and now there's like a third personality out there, which is this like edited version of myself as a character. I think that wigs me out. And whenever we have reality show contestants or participants on our show, what's one of the questions I always ask is like, what's your experience and what's your opinion of the edited version of you?
Right.
Because it is different.
And from interviewing, I mean, we know from interviewing these people, a lot of times what's on the show is so different than.
Or so real that it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that too.
It's either one of the two. It's like, wow, they really got your essence and it's like very revealing and that's hard. Or it's, and usually that's the case with Housewives. I think they kind of get who these people are across. But with other shows, like I've known people that have worked on, reality shows as editors, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll fully just make someone say something they didn't say.
Right.
I don't think Bravo does that in those production companies. I think that they're like a gold standard of like reality TV producing, but other places like the trash reality shows, like they're trash,
right?
Because you can hear it in the way they like cut together a soundbite when someone's not on screen. You know what I'm saying?
I did the Paris and Nicole reboot show that's coming out in December. I'm gonna be in it, and I'm a little concerned with that of like the editing of. Like,
I would be too.
Like I don't know. I think it'll just be funny, and I think the whole. From what I understand, it's going to be like a really funny, silly, or great thing. So hopefully it won't be anything where they're trying to get anyone or anything like that.
Yeah,
I think the spirit of it will be.
Yeah, it just depends,
hopefully.
I guess, on like what the discourse is about that type of show. Like if you're a drag queen going on Drag Race, get ready for some really vicious, rough discourse. If you're going on Housewives, get ready for some really vicious, rough discourse. I feel like the Paris and Nicole show, who's going to go online and be like on the Reddit and be like,
I'm sure there'll be
can't believe
someone.
that bitch Danny, like he's so stupid.
Sure there'll be someone.
Yeah,
but
there always is someone.
Wait, Salt Lake City. Let's get into Salt Lake City. So who you're liking? Lisa Barlow. You said she's a favorite
Love
of yours.
Lisa,
but what
I love everyone on the show.
Bronwyn and Brittany. Tell me about what do you think?
Oh, I love Bronwyn. I think she's a really compelling addition. I think it's always great to see how these women deal with someone who's actually got like gnarly, long money, like in a real way. Todd worries me a little bit. I don't like the way he talks to her at all. Shocking breaking news. I'm sure we all share that opinion. But I wonder if there is something to them being on this show to begin with, because he so clearly doesn't want to be there, and their relationship is non-traditional. So I guess my thing is like, is this stage one of an uncoupling? Because it feels like that.
Yeah.
Her going.
We've been through that. Let's all say we've been through this enough times to recognize the behavior that this is probably where it's headed. Right?
I mean, her and her confessional, and I really like her confessionals. Yeah, I adore her. I think she's a great housewife. She's great. But I will say, for someone who's so obsessed with his approval and so concerned with his approval, what does she think she's going to get when he sees her confessionals about him?
Right.
Like him being like, he's embarrassing me.
Do you think? Yeah.
The way he talks to me is not great. You think this man is going to come out at the reunion and talk this out with you? Yeah. He can barely sit at his own home on camera. I'm shocked he agreed to do it.
Yeah.
Shocked.
I think all the behavior that we're seeing, it's like, I don't know.
Like, how did she? I wonder how she convinced him to do it. He seems uncomfortable with every part of it.
Yeah. It might just be one of those situations. She signed up and it's like, I'm going to do this thing, and like slowly revealed information to him.
He seems like a really smart guy. I mean, like, I there's just something else. Like, there's something.
I don't like seeing how she is with the women and then seeing how different she is with him in terms of like power dynamics.
She gets nervous.
Yeah. And that's what I find most uncomfortable. It's like she's so strong and strong-footed in any argument with these other women, and then you see her kind of shrink to him, and that's what makes me uncomfortable. It's like it's very clear that she's a different person amongst these two groups, so it's kind of like, well, maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle with that, but there is, we all are adults here, to see someone shrink like that around their partner is like a little.
I would like to see a scene where he was like proud of her or supportive of her or whatever, that wasn't like, here's a gift that I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it feels like a relationship I don't really understand, and that's fine as long as it gets, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I cannot understand it. I cannot want a relationship like that for myself, but in terms of the dynamics and how they're working and why it's something that works for her, I haven't seen that yet, because you have not seen really a scene of them like happy together or, you know, in a really positive light, or where she looks super comfortable.
I think that Mary's Tiffany lunch was one of the all-time greatest lunch.
So good.
To me, it was like an all-time great episode.
Meredith's bangs. How did she leave the house like that?
No, it's shocking. It's shocking.
It's perfect.
It's so fucking funny. Like it was one of those things that it came on the screen, I laughed. But then it was like every fucking time I saw Meredith, I kept laughing.
I did.
It never got old
because
for me.
Like, I felt bad because they all had something to say about it in the confessionals, and then the episode literally ended with her being like, the door shutting, and then being like, bye bye Miss Flintstone or something.
Mary said something like, take those bangs with you.
Take those bangs with you or whatever. Like, it ended in a way where this show clowns Meredith a lot.
I know, I love it.
Like, they clown Meredith a lot, and I just hope she doesn't ever like leave, because no, Meredith to me is like in the fabric and the DNA.
Right.
It's one of those shows. SLC
Her
is one
and
of those
Lisa
shows,
to me are both in the fabric. I this is controversial too, but I don't feel that way so much about Heather and Whitney as other people do. Yes, you do. I don't feel as like, to me, I like them and I'm happy that they're around, and they should stay around. But I wouldn't be so devastated if they were let go.
You know what's funny is it's like, Angie K entered the chat, and she's one of my favorites.
I know,
Like that,
she's the best.
like I know we love like the four of them, like, and that's like the core. And then there's Mary who comes in and out, and I'm so happy is back because she's
I love him.
great. But Angie K, not only am I cracking up every time, I think what I love about her is something I sort of detest in other housewives, which is the self-awareness to me makes her better. Like when she comes into a scene and she knows she's on camera, like something about it charms me. Like I don't know, in a way where anyone else I'd be like, okay, calm down. This girl charms me. Like I don't know, like whenever she's like, well, Meredith, like she's like really winding up the pitch, I'm like, let's go.
Matthew, let me tell you something. I feel that way about Brittany now. I feel that way about her. She's so embarrassing, and it's so much that I came around.
You
like
guys,
the first
what
few
about
episodes,
me?
I was like, oh, this is embarrassing, thirsty.
It was
but that's how I felt about Angie K.
I know.
And then now I'm watching Brittany stand up at that lunch, the Tiffany lunch, being like, it's about me. We're talking about me. And all of the women just sort of, I was like, this woman should always be on the show. Like, she's fucking nuts. She's embarrassing, but in a way that I'm loving now.
What do you think?
And then what the fuck? Wait, Jared Osmond going to Mary's DMs? What?
It's great to meet like a real spiritual quality woman.
Yeah, he's so Slade, like Mormon Slade coded to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, okay, all these things, him going in Mary's DMs. I'm like, okay,
Like,
he'll be with us. He'll be with us for a while too. I think.
You think so?
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow.
If he's in Mary's DM, he's finding a way on this show.
Also, just her being like, I didn't tell her. I'm not telling her.
Do you think that he started dating Brittany to be on this? Brittany was probably like, I'm going to be doing this show. And then he finds out she's a friend of and sort of steps back. And then she this isn't all made up in my head, but I feel like she then probably told him, was like, oh, I'm filming more now. We might be, like I'm doing more group events. They might upgrade me or something like that. And he's like sort of dipped his toe in and stuck around.
I think
and then
he certainly showed up
Mary.
Really ready to be in that scene where they were both invited to the party. What was that? Was that Heather's event or something? Angie's event, right.
Mafia 25th anniversary.
Yeah. The Greek mafia. See, this is what I'm saying. Like Angie is a barrel of laughs.
The cake wasn't like money on it.
Yes,
was like a
and also when Angie opened up about her mother in this last episode, I was moved.
Yes.
And like it made sense to me about her. Like I was like, and I felt like, oh, like there's like artifice is dropping here. Like I love Angie K.
It's really it's discussing the embarrassment of riches for casting in Salt Lake City of like that.
Who knew?
And are you on the side of like, I know there's a lot of people who are like, they needed Monica back or
no.
Monica back. I don't feel that either.
Because again, like
God bless her.
Monica and I believe Alexis Spallino are Defense Against the Dark Arts villains. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? One season, one book.
And
Dolores Umbridge and Gilderoy Lockhart.
Right. Totally.
They're not meant to be in more than one book.
Season arc. Give us one. Yes.
They were a chapter.
That's how I feel about Orange County with bringing Joe in. Like, let's make it about either maybe the Ryan situation or find some skeletons somewhere else.
I do think that I think Bronwyn is clearly here to stay, and I think we'll see with Brittany. I think the season ends really badly with Brittany. Is what I'm surmising from the previews.
Why? What have you heard?
I haven't heard anything, but there's a lot about like. So when someone filming recording, and it seems like they're all angry at Brittany about it.
Oh no.
Because now even Heather is like, I regret having brought her around.
But have you heard her sing, Brittany, online? Have you seen the videos?
I heard her do The Wizard and I.
What do you think?
Great. She's got a great voice.
Right.
She had a great sound. She had a very like, and I say this with all the respect in the world and all the positivity in the world, like very like Disney theme park, like third national tour quality voice, like great trained, good sound, like servicing the material, like not upstaging anything, like jumping in the show, can do the ingenue part well.
Right. What show would you want to do if you could do any?
If I could do a show, I guess I would want to do...
Have you done Broadway?
No, I've never done anything like that, but I would love to. I guess I would want to do Book of Mormon.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe, I don't know. That's
because of your love of Salt Lake City Housewives?
Yes, exactly. I'd bring all my expertise. But I think I'd want to do a play first.
Okay, want to quickly just touch on Potomac, or do you have any thoughts about Potomac or New York? Because I know we don't have too much time.
Potomac is like back and great, and I think Stacey is amazing.
So good.
Stacey, like they kind of crushed
Kiana,
it this year.
I think is a great addition too.
I think Kiana is normal girl vibes.
Yeah,
very not seeming like a reality TV star to me, but I like her as a person.
Oh yeah,
but when she's talking, sometimes I'm like,
see, I think I like that about her.
You like that?
I think that I like that about her. I like something about her to me feels very natural, and I like.
How can you be a Casita hater from way back and now be like pro Kiana though?
You know, I don't always make sense, Matthew Rogers. And I don't feel that I have to. I feel like when it comes to these shows, I can feel it one way right now, and 5 minutes from now, I could feel
just so
totally
you guys don't know.
way.
Danny is now standing up, shaking his finger at me. It's
How
really
fucking
okay.
dare you?
Get out of my house!
Get the fuck out! No.
Other Matt's gonna run in here being like, "What's going on?"
I know it's so weird to have another Matt talking.
So, do you jump into calling me Matthew because you call him? Yeah, because
I call him Matthew.
Yeah.
I do like a formal name though. I might have told you that. I love calling anyone a formal name.
Yes, Daniel.
It's fun. It's like a fun. To me, it is like a playful. I do it with people I like. It's like 100%. A term of endearment of like, let me call you by your full.
It's either full name for me means I love you, or when I make up a name for you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like Bowen has like 15 names. He's Bobis, he's Bobis, he's Bowenna.
How do you guys decide
Bo
what stuff to work on and what stuff to do separately? Like, have there been projects where maybe you were approached to do something together and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right? Or
that's interesting. I think, well, obviously he's like an A-list star, so he's always got offers outside of me all the time. I'm still in that place where it's like I still audition for everything I get. I still, like, if we get offered to do something together, it's usually like a brand thing or like an appearance thing to promote Lost Coach or something like that. We have some things in the works that are more exclusively together that are going to be like more, I guess, like legit things, which are coming, but
can you tell us what they are?
Not yet.
Okay, but you'll tell me after.
But I will.
Okay.
Like the individual stuff is all stuff we pursue on our own.
Yeah.
Like it's not really about deciding. It's just like we'll get an offer, and if it's for both of us, we'll do it if we're both like excited about it. And if one of us isn't, then we don't do it.
So you didn't say anything about the New York. Are you?
I just don't care.
It's bad, yeah.
They can't get me to care.
Right.
And I think that unfortunately, like, the only move they have, because I think it's the most interesting thing, is to show how much they're all self-producing.
Right.
And I hope that what happens,
like, fully break the fourth wall.
I hope that what happens is at the reunion, it's a come to Jesus about that. Because I actually think that might be interesting.
Yeah, it could
like,
be. At least
you guys started being housewives way into this machine. Clearly, it's not natural conflict. Why do you feel like you need to do this? And I'm wondering how Brynn is feeling watching herself.
That one moment,
I would feel really upset if I was.
I would too. But that one moment of Brynn where she was trying to tell, I forget who she was talking to, or like
Rebecca.
She was like, do this or say it like this or whatever. I felt like that was the most interesting thing, and I would love that too if they just leaned into that. Like, show me the mechanics of making this show, but it feels like they're afraid to.
Well, then they have to commit to one or the other.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what's not working is your entire climax and ending of an episode and intro of another episode is something that's not even real.
No.
Like, that was pathetic.
Yeah.
And they know it.
It just pissed everyone off. And they know it. Yeah.
They certainly know it. I'm sure Bravo knows it.
I always say with these shows, like, when we're watching it, it's a really bad episode, bad season or whatever, like, they know it is too. So it doesn't serve us all to just be like bullshitting and be like, oh, it's so good, or let's pretend it's good. It's like, because that's not going to help anyone make a better show the next season.
I also feel bad, but like, the new women aren't adding anything. I don't think they are, because I feel like we actually still needed to get to know the new women we already had better before we spend like so much time with Raquel.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're spending so much time with Raquel, and I'm like, there's still stuff to discover about these other women. And there's also the fact that some of these other women aren't even showing so much of their lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it's like, I don't know. It feels like every time I look up, it's Raquel on the screen. And I'm like, it's nothing against her, but it's like she's not the foundation of what we started. She's not even a main
character of this show. And when I really think of it, I'm like, what are all of their relationships to each other? I don't really know what two of them are really close, or I can't think of like the dynamics even within them of like, oh, Sai and Aaron are super close friends outside of this show. I feel, like I don't feel any natural kind of connection between them.
It's like I did their BravoCon panel and it seemed like they were doing good, and I was like, oh, I feel really good about this group of ladies going forward. And now I'm watching it again and I'm like, it feels like they felt themselves getting along and freaked out. And I'm like, no, if you guys get along generally, do that. Like something will happen.
Right.
But I would literally rather watch
paint dry
a whole episode of them getting along and being funny and doing stupid shit and going on vacation and wearing the outfits, etc., and being cool New York women than watch fake drama that they feel they need to create that doesn't hold any water, and then we end up seeing the seams.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. It might be holistically interesting later when we get to the reunion and we call it out if we do, but it's not interesting like episode to episode.
Right.
Like it's more of like an idea or a concept of an entertaining thing than it is an actual entertaining thing. Yeah, it's a concept of a plan. That's what New Roni is. It's a concept of a plan.
People always yell whenever I talk shit about it. People yell at me. But
why?
I mean, it seems to have shifted the past couple weeks where people are finally being like, no, it is terrible.
I really liked the first season. Really liked. I don't know if that's like if I'm like leaning on that. I liked the first season. I was hopeful about it.
Yeah.
Then when it came back, I was excited, and it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Matt, tell me about your projects. Okay, so the Netflix show.
Yeah.
What should we start with?
Let's start there.
Okay.
It's called No Good Deed.
Okay.
Did you watch Dead to Me?
Yes, of course.
So it's the same creator, Liz Feldman. She's made a new show.
And the cast is insane, isn't it? Ray
Romano, Lisa Kudrow, Linda Cardellini, Luke Wilson, Dennis Leary, Abby Jacobson, Poppy Lou, Tayana Paris, O.T. Fagbenle, me.
Okay, wait. We work out together sometimes, and I think when you told me about this, I had asked you if you find Ray Romano attractive, because I'm very attracted to him now.
I don't find him attractive, but that's on me.
You get it, though.
I do get it. And also, he's a lovely guy. And I will say this about everyone on the cast, really nice people. And especially because, like, I mean, you hear that list I just said, like, it's a bunch of intimidating people, especially for me, like a gay guy from Long Island. Like, it's hitting me on all cylinders. Like, Lisa Kudrow, obviously. Ray Romano is like culturally, like I grew up watching that show. Well, I'm not Italian, but I am Greek.
Wait, you're not Italian?
No.
Why did I always think you were Italian?
I think you've actually asked me this before, and we've had the same sort of runaround. I'm Greek in my mind, and then 23andMe tells me I'm Turkish.
Okay.
So I'm a queer Middle Eastern man. So watch what you say.
You have such Italian energy to me.
It's the
I know. I'm sorry.
But then, like Linda Cardellini, I'm obviously obsessed. Like, so every single time I had a scene or a table read, I came like, okay, deep breaths, be cool, do your job, do a good job. And everyone was just so nice.
So is the show kind of that great Dead to Me mix of like comedy, drama, action?
It's
everything.
like a murder mystery comedy. It's sort of like Knives Out in the LA suburbs.
The trailer I saw gave me like a little like Only Murders in the Building vibe of like a mix of the comedy with like the mystery aspect of it,
really
which I like.
It's really that. Okay. I mean, like it's Netflix, so it's all going to come out at once. It's 8 episodes, and I think it's going to be December 12th.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a really fun binge. Like, I think people are going to watch it in one go or 2 goes. I don't think it's going to be one of those things that people spread out. And I'm really excited about it.
A nice little 8-episode holiday treat.
Exactly. And I really do think, I mean, it's so like, I guess, like, you know, cliche to say, but there is something for everyone in the show, and there's like a character for everyone in the show. It is a show that you can watch with your family. Like, it really feels like a cozy show, but also a suspenseful, intriguing show. At the same time, it's like really funny and very real and heartwarming. There's moments of like, especially Ray and Lisa's performances that I think show really beautiful sides of them as actors. And it's like really cool to be on a show. I always wanted to be on a show when I was younger, like where like I had to keep secrets about it. Like every episode ends on a cliffhanger in a really fun way, and it shows super interesting shades to characters, and it's just keeps unfolding.
Is there a big cliffhanger at the end of the season? So will there be more seasons, or is the idea to be more seasons?
I can't really say.
Okay.
But like you'll see why when you watch it.
Okay.
But like it's interesting the way that it ends, and I play the real estate agent that's like at the center of all this. So basically it's like Ray and Lisa.
You're like the Chriselle.
I'm the Chriselle, and I did ask her for advice. Ray and Lisa play this couple who are selling their Los Feliz home.
Okay.
And all the different couples are vying for it, and no one knows that the reason why they need to sell it is because something really dark happened in the house.
Okay.
And I play the real estate agent, so I have like scenes with everyone. I'm in 6 out of the 8 episodes. It's a really fun part, and I'm excited about it.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so December 12th, Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
December 12th, Netflix. And then also you're on tour.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure
so
am.
how people can get tickets from the
MattRogersOfficial.com. I start in LA on December 4th, and that's actually the same night as the premiere of No Good Deed. So I'm gonna like run over there.
Will this be like a yearly tour now?
It pretty much
this is the
has
second
been
year,
since-
right?
It's the third
no, you've
year
done
of
a
the
third
tour.
year, right?
And I've been
And last
doing
year was
it
the album
some
and the
version
special,
for 7 years.
Right? Was that last year?
Last year was the album. The year prior to that was the special.
Okay.
And then the year prior to that was COVID.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, no, actually 2 years prior to that was COVID. It's been a really interesting thing to revisit every year after year.
So I would imagine, obviously, coming to a show like that is, we want to see you and we want to see you sing and all that stuff, which
Sure.
is fantastic. But I also imagine the crowds at your show is probably really great crowds, right?
So fun.
Like, I just feel like the crowd is probably like that Bravo-y audience or like Las Culture
it's a
audience.
very festive crowd of people that are excited to be engaged in.
Yeah, like I
evening.
feel like that's what I'm excited. I'm going to try to come on.
Yes,
December
please
5th,
come.
or 4th. But I feel like that's what I'm most excited about. I feel like those crowds I could imagine those crowds being really, really fun.
It's a really fun.
Not to mention, of
crowd.
course, I know you're great.
You know, I'm up there doing whatever. But yeah, it's a really fun crowd. It's a really fun show. It's also fun because I've now done some people that have been coming to the show every year for like 7 years or whatever the fuck. Like, now they know the songs. So the bit that I was doing in the beginning, like, these are the new Christmas classics. Like, people actually are singing
They are
them.
Christmas classics.
Well, you know, that's not for me to say.
I'll
But
say
but no, it's a lot of fun. It's my favorite thing I do every year.
Yeah. And then Las Culturistas is your podcast. Where can people listen? And
Wherever they get their podcast, you see, as you know. Yeah, no, Las Culture continues. We
you guys
are
the most
still
amazing
out
guests.
here.
You guys are so good.
We definitely have so much fun. You know who we have on this week? Anna Gasteyer.
I mean, come on, she's the best.
So great. And she's got a Christmas project out too. She's got an album called Sugar and Booze.
Sugar and Booze also is one of the great Christmas songs.
Yes.
That's on my holiday playlist by Anna Gasteyer. It's
She's
really
great.
good.
She's great.
And
She's
it kind of
an amazing
plays that
singer.
same.
It's so funny.
Did you guys talk about that? I mean, I feel like it rides that same line that your holiday music does, where it's really funny, but also you're like, wait, it's
But
also a
it's
good song.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, the idea. Like, my like influences when I was growing up were like The Lonely Island, where the music was so funny, the lyrics and the sketch comedy was so embedded in the music, but it also, the songs kind of went off. And so I work with Leland and Gabe Lopez to produce my album, which is out a year ago. You can listen to it now, stream it on Spotify. It's called Have You Heard of Christmas? 12 tracks. And
good.
yeah, there might be a little Christmas surprise soon.
Will there be like a bonus? Can we do like a deluxe reissue? Like,
There may be something.
okay, good. I heard Cher's doing one, so we got one with your holiday album as well.
I
Share
don't
Christmas
know about
Deluxe
an album
Edition
re-release,
and that
but
one.
I might give you guys a new
Give us a
tune.
little sum. Give us
Right now?
No, but no, a little sum.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
no.
also now, right now. Wait, will you give me a little drive back?
Oh my God. Wait. I don't think I've listened to it in a while.
Drive. Wait, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Drive back. Like that. How did it go?
There was something she did that you used to imitate that made me laugh so hard, and I can't.
All
remember.
I do is drive back home to you. Boy, all I do is drive back home to you. Did I ever tell you? Okay, so I did my Christmas show 2 years ago at the 930 Club in DC. And Candace
and she
Dillard
showed
Bassett came. And she sat in the front row. And it was the one time I was ever so nervous that I messed up my words.
Sure.
No one could tell. But at the end of the show, I do this thing where I sing All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. And I like it. It's like the encore. And I go, now I'm going to do a song by a very special lady. And she
thought it was her.
I think that there was a moment where she thought I was going to sing Drive Back. And I'm going to tell you something. I thought about it.
You should have.
Because all I wanted to do was rip Drive Back up in front of her because I actually love that song. And I really love Candace. But I obviously wasn't doing that. But I felt her like,
you felt the energy shift.
She like grabbed her friend's hand and then went down. And I was just like, okay, like good. I think it may have made her nervous to like center her in that way, but she's great. I really adore her.
What's your favorite Housewives song?
Oh, Drive Back is my favorite Housewives song, for sure. No, it just seems like a boring answer coming off that, but it is far and away the best Housewives.
Can we play a little game all of a sudden really quick?
Yeah.
Of where I give you a name of a Bravo celebrity song and you sing it because it made me laugh.
Okay, sure.
Okay, tardy for the party, go.
Don't be tardy for the party. Don't be tardy for the party.
Chic, c'est la vie.
Chic, c'est la vie. C'est bon, c'est bon.
Do you remember Google Me?
I don't remember Google Me. Who's that?
I don't either. It was Kim Zolciak. It was like GOOLGLE. Did you get the computer and Google Me or something?
I love the spelling. That we know what era that came from.
Okay, wait. How many fucks?
I mean, how many fucks do I give? None. Not 1. 0. 0. 0. Ah.
You sound like the 30 Rock baby. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm a very sexy baby.
By the way, Kristen Milioti, please edit that. Kristen Milioti, and if you ever watched the new Batman show. You were just thinking of
Christine Milian. That's why.
Christina Milian and Kristen Milioti.
AM to PM.
Two different. I would love to see them in conversation. No, Kristen Milioti is literally one of the best actors in the world. She did the sexy baby on 30 Rock, and now she's playing Sophia Falcone on Batman.
I heard that's so good. I haven't watched it.
It is
I've heard
so
it's so good. I need to watch it.
She's tremendous.
I need to watch it.
I can't believe you didn't ask me. On display every day, every day.
Did you are you still getting backlash from Jersey fans?
No, I mean, they tend
it.
to calm down. I also think they really only exist online. I think they're like online phantoms because they were fully telling me like, you better watch your back at BravoCon. And I actually was like going to BravoCon last or 2 years ago being like kind of scared. I had my friend Riri with me and that was it. And no one came up to me and said anything. I only got love from the fans. So I think that Teresa fans are like either bots or truly only exist online. It's been kind of nice to see her like embrace the villain thing on House of Villains. And just to clarify my Teresa Giudice stance, I don't think she's bad on reality television. I think she is not good on the Housewives of New Jersey anymore.
You know, I kind of want them all back. After we've had this big break, I'm like, I miss them.
Together?
I kind of do. That's my truth, I think. I've been thinking about it actually a lot lately, and I'm like, I kind of miss them.
Do you know what I think is
they're all hated each other, and and I was saying that they needed a bunch of changes, and now that enough time has passed, I'm like, well, I miss them.
I kind of think what's going to happen, and I don't like saying this, but I think what's going to happen is I think the only change that's going to be made is Teresa and Melissa are both gone.
Oh, see, I feel the opposite.
You think they're going to stay?
I feel like it's going to be like a big they're going to announce that they're both coming back and we're all going to be like, what? And then they'll get rid of like, I don't know,
Marge,
Jackie or someone.
Yeah.
Like, or like some random.
I don't think Jackie should hold on to hope.
Yeah. But otherwise I don't think it's going to be as drastic of changes.
I think
Danielle will go.
You think Danielle will go?
I kind of do because I don't feel, I kind of do.
You know what? The throwing of the things. I don't think was a good look.
Oh yeah, and I think that's why she'll be gone. I don't know if Jen Aiden will be back. So maybe there will be probably big changes. But I think Dolores for sure will be back.
Her. That's my perspective on watching it is I'm like, I don't think he likes that woman at all.
I feel that way too. Yeah, and
I think it matters.
And I think I don't know. Do you feel that way about Marge too? Sometimes I get that impression.
I have to say I love Marge, but I get the sense that maybe she is also a lot, because I do believe that she does do a lot of the stuff with the fan community, and I just think they want to cut that off.
Fan outreach. I don't know why. That's
I think that
too much fan outreach.
Too much fan outreach amongst all those women, and I think that's what bothers Bravo the most, and they're going to want to.
And I think on any of these shows, it's a good tip of like they all need to not worry too much about the fan.
Oh, no, I would agree. I think get out the comments and the Housewives shows will be better. I mean, it loops back around to what we were saying. Like, if you're in the comments, it will harm your job, no matter what you're doing.
Right. And just to know, the audience, we like messy characters. So you can be a villain and we'll still come around to you then the next season.
Nothing
so
wrong with a villain.
Allow yourself to be a villain for a minute and we'll come around to you. We promise.
No. I'm going to be standing Dorit this season.
Matthew, I love you so much. Thank you for coming by.
I love you back. This is always my...
Everyone, check out your Netflix show, December 12th. Go see you on tour. Also, I want to remind listeners, I have a movie, Deck the Walls, coming out on Hallmark Channel this weekend. It's Friday, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, 8/7 Central on the Hallmark Channel. It's going to be on Peacock for a few days afterwards, and then also airing throughout the season on Hallmark Channel.
Amazing.
Please watch.
Congratulations.
We need everyone to do hashtag Deck the Walls, watch it, tell Hallmark, so let's do a sequel and make more and stuff like that. But it's really cute. So just November 29th, this Friday, day after Thanksgiving, 8/7 Central. Okay, Matthew, thank you.
Thank you.
Any plugs you got to do? Any other plugs?
Yeah, I need to get plugged.
Get plugged. We'll get you another nut when we go out of the room. Okay, love you, Matt.
Woo, love you.